Hello and welcome to this video where we'll go into the theory session of KNN, K nearest neighbor. This algorithm is super simple, but it's really useful in machine learning, and you will also see it useful in many things in machine learning, AI, deep learning, even in generative AI. When you are creating, for example, RAGs, you will need to use KNN. That is quite cool that it is being used there. Let's go into the slides now. Here I am in the slides. Leverage the distance to your neighbors for classification or regression using KNN. Find closest distance to your K neighbors. We start with a Cartesian coordinate system here. We have x1 and x2. These are two different features. And then we have different labels here, circles and triangles. Then we have a cross here. This is a new sample. How do we classify it? If you take a look into the distances, the closest ones are circle, circle, and triangle. And you can see that there are two circles while there's one triangle that is closest. If you look into the three closest ones, then you will get it becoming a circle, classified as a circle. If k equals 3, then it's these three that we'll look at because they are the closest ones. Then you will see that 0 is one label 0 and triangle is label 1. Then x is the test sample. Then x is classified as 0 here, as there were two zeros compared to 1, 1. Okay, KNN, it works like this. We have k nearest neighbors. K is the number of nearest neighbors. First, you compute the distances d, this is the d vector, between the test sample and all the training samples. The training samples are all the samples that exist in memory. These are the training samples, and they have different labels. Here we have we sort the distance vector in descending order that they become. You have the ones that are the ones that have longest, and then you choose the k nearest points. You choose the k nearest points, and then it's the majority voting. Then when you have majority voting, for example, you have two here that are O, and then you have one triangle, then the majority is 0. In regression case, you take the mean of the k closest neighbor values. K is a hyperparameter. How do we choose this one? You can do an elbow plot, for example, as we have seen in previous videos. You can do an elbow plot by taking a lot of different k values, and then you have your train, test, val split, and you will take a look into where we have the best score and the best metric. And you can do k-fold cross-validation to choose k. There are several ways to measure distances, and this is very important. It depends on the similarity measure, because you can measure this distance in different ways. You can measure it on Euclidean distance. This is the actual distance. You can think of it as you take the closest distance, just draw a line from one point to another point. The distance between P and Q is basically a theorem in multiple dimensions to find this distance. If you have 2D, you have a Pythagorean theorem to find this distance, and then in multiple dimensions, since you have several features, then you just expand this to the other features. Then there's cosine similarity, and this is very important when you come into, for example, large language models, and you come into natural language processing, and then you're measuring it based on the vectors, the angle. You have the different angles P and Q, and you have the cosine of this angle, cosine of this theta, and what you do, the theta is telling how close the angle is between these two. It measures the angle theta between two vectors. And this similarity score, this cosine similarity, is between -1 and 1, because the cosine of theta can be -1 or from -1 to 1, depending on which theta angle we have. For example, the theta equals to 0 degrees, then we have cosine theta equals 1. It means that if it's 1, then they are like lying on each other. Cosine theta equals to 0 degrees, then we have this SC equals to 1, then we know that these vectors are the same. For example, we have one word that is, for example, cow, and then you have another word that is cow. Then you have cos theta equals 1 because it's the same word, but if you have cow and you have calf, they are very close to each other. The theta is very close to 0, which means cosinus of theta is very close to 1. And then it is that the words are quite similar to each other. This is very important when you come into LLMs later on. When you have theta equals 180 degrees, then they are opposite to each other and they are as far as possible. For cosinus theta, it becomes -1. This is just some basic trigonometry. You see how useful math is. This is closest and this is the opposite, it's most further away. Where cosine similarity is used extensively in NLP as vectors are very sparse. It's very sparse vectors. There's a lot of zeros when it comes to languages. I will just talk about this now, but later on when we come into LLMs and natural language processing, then I'll tell you how we actually go from text to vectors. As you might know that computers, they don't understand text, they understand numbers, they understand zeros and ones, and we need to be able to represent text somehow. We have done that very well. That's why we do have these large generative models and large language models. They are quite computational efficient, these vectors, using cosine similarity. For example, we have document similarity, and one vector could look like this for football article, and another vector for basket article. We have another for food article, might look like this. Then here you take a look into the angle, the ones that are closest. For example, here you can see basket and football are very close to each other. Even if, for example, here you have basket is not very far, the magnitude of the vector and the magnitude of the vector football article is quite long. And that could be due to it more about football, more about sports in the longer article, perhaps. While the basket article is much shorter and just a few mentions. However, they are still pointing towards the similar angles. When you take the angle, you get the document similarity that they are most similar, while the food article is opposite, it's far away. In this way, you can group the articles together. You can group different documents. And this idea is crucial when you come into RAGs, how to actually retrieve documents from, for example, documentation from different sources that you can make the LLM answer based on your context. In this video, we have talked about KNN and how the KNN algorithm works. It's quite simple algorithm, and I hope that you have learned some intuition and theory about how it works. We have some simple math inside, and then doing some to try to understand how the algorithm works, how we go into different similarity measures to measure the distances, and then talk about the different measures, and for example, how cosine similarity works. This is very important when you come into NLP and LLMs later on, that this is good to know, and it's starting with very simple ideas. I hope that you've learned a lot from this video, and see you in the next one. Bye!